Proverbs chapter 10, verse 25 in the New Living Translation says this: when the storms of life come, the wicked are whirled away, but the godly have a lasting foundation. You see, storms come to both the godly and the wicked, but it doesn't blow us away because we have a lasting foundation. We're built on a rock. They have no foundation. They are whirled away, but we have a solid foundation. So when trials that are too heavy for us to bear, if my hope is built on nothing less but Jesus' blood and his righteousness, when the storm comes, now I've got something to undergird my life because I'm built on something solid. This is not just my fickle emotions. I'm built on the rock of the revelation of who Jesus is in my life. And you see, it's easy to get in a storm like the disciples did. And they started making speculations about God because they said, "Teacher, you don't even care about us, that we are perishing. You're asleep. We're about to die. Water is filling the ship, and you're here asleep. You don't even care about us." And this scripture made me think about so many people that I've talked to over the years, because they said, "I was obeying God. I was paying my tithe. I was going to church, and I was serving God." And then they begin to tell me about a storm that's happening in their life. And it's like, "He must not love me because I know some other people on my job. They ain't even saved. And then he blessed them with a husband. And then he blessed them with a new car. And they got a house. And I've been trying to do right. God knows I've been trying to do right." And they're making the assumption that he doesn't love me because I'm having a storm. Who says that God doesn't love you in the midst of a storm? He's holding you in the storm. He is your shelter in the storm. So don't interpret God's love for you in light of your current circumstances. If God has you in a hard place, if he puts you in the furnace of affliction and feeds you with the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. It means that he's more concerned about your development than he is your comfort. So yeah, you'll be uncomfortable on the journey sometime, but you know, when you walk with the Lord, you'll make it through. You will make it through. Anybody who's walked with him for a while, you come through some stuff that you didn't think you were going to make it, but he brought you through. You were sick and you didn't think you were going to get well. Somebody left you, somebody died in your life, and you didn't think that you had to file bankruptcy, your marriage fell apart, and you didn't think that you were going to make it after this. You lost money, you lost pride, you lost esteem, you lost your identity of who you were, and you didn't think you were going to make it, but somehow, in the midst of the storm, you didn't do anything to cause the storm, but I'm here to tell you, he loves you in spite of the storm. And it is interesting that because there was a storm, Jesus didn't get all of the disciples on the ship and said, "Okay, boys, line up. Okay, it's time to fess up. Which one of you had sin in your life? Which one? Come on, Peter. I know it was you. What have you done? Tell us, Peter. You had to do something. What? Andrew, Bartholomew, Matthew. Matthew, come on, talk to me." No. He didn't do anything. He didn't accuse the disciples. He didn't assume that it was because of their disobedience that the storm had come. When they said, "Master, do you not care that we perish?" Jesus got up immediately. And he didn't look at his disciples. He looked at the wind. He looked at the sea. And he didn't come sheepishly, but he spoke with authority in his voice and said, "Peace, be still." And everything that had been troubling everybody on the ship and in the ship immediately calmed down. At his word, he sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destructions. He sent his word. The next time you're in a storm that you know that you didn't do anything to cause, you better ask, is there a word from the Lord? Because all that he needs to do is say, "Peace in the midst of the storm. I declare peace in the midst of the storm." My God, sometimes just that one word. You don't know how valuable peace is until you've lost it. Or you don't know what peace is until you can't sleep at night, until you got to take some drugs to help you to lay down and another set of drugs to help you get up the next morning. You don't really know how valuable it is to have peace until you sit at your job and you can't even keep your mind on what you're supposed to be doing. You're drifting about your son and your daughter and dealing with your husband and dealing with debtors that are calling you. You can't even focus because you don't have any peace. But God will come to everything that's been blowing boisterously around your life and say, peace! Yes, he will. He has a way of declaring peace. Be still. And immediately, this is not a storm that fades out. This is one that blows and stops immediately at his word. At his word.